All righty. Well, it is 3 o'clock. Welcome to Replenish the Atmosphere of Discovery, where we discover the Master's plan for us, right? So we will be digging, we will be unveiling and revealing parts of us and things that we have allowed to enter us that is not a part of God's design. Okay. So today's session is the way of escape. Today's session is the way of escape. Okay. The way of escape is the way completely out. It's total freedom, not by avoiding something, but by exiting. Okay. It is stopping a continued cycle in your life, in your mind, in your body, in your relationships, in your careers, in every area. This is escaping. Okay. It is not freedom by any other way. It is not freedom by avoiding it or ignoring it. It is coming out of any form of bondage in a healthy way. That is what the way of escape is. And I want to start by addressing your reactions and responses that are coming to you. Okay. There are particular patterns of thoughts, of feelings, and events that we continue giving the same reactions and responses to, right? Have you realized that by doing this, you have limited yourself to only these certain reactions and responses, right? One of the ways that you can exit those unhealthy patterns is by establishing a new reality, right? For your original God created mind, okay? You may have created a new reality every time you met a new person, right? Or created a new identity every time you moved to a new place or changed jobs or whatever the case might have been. You may have created a new version of yourself. But now you need to establish a reality that suits who God created you to be, right? Not what society, friends, family, your fears, your trauma, your followers, or your friends have set up for you, right? You must choose to exit the realm of things that have to be a certain way to satisfy everybody else's version of you, right? And stop making make believe real. That is not your reality. We make fake friends real, right? We make fake feelings real, right? We make lies our foundation. And these are twisted realities in our minds that keep us avoiding taking responsibility for the way we think, the way we act, and the way that our lives are going right now. So to escape that, we must choose to exit those false realities and establish a real one, right? That grows, that benefits, that embraces the original you, okay? Escape to a different mindset, a different point of view, a different perspective. You can do this by expanding or reducing your reception. Okay. You can escape to a different mindset, a different perspective by expanding or reducing your reception. And reception is the process of receiving something that is sent, that is given, or that is inflicted upon you. Okay. So, what have you been receiving that you're stuck continuing to receive that is not embracing you? And what have you been unwilling to receive that will benefit you? That's two questions I want you to think about. In order to escape that cycle, that pattern, in order to escape that mindset and that perspective, you have to expand and reduce your reception. Okay, so what have you been receiving that you've been stuck receiving that is not embracing you? And the flip side of that question is, what have you been unwilling to receive that will benefit you, right? Are you unwilling to receive love? Are you unwilling to receive help? Are you unwilling to receive happiness and friendships and positive relationships? Are you unwilling to receive the offers to change the career, to expand your business? Are you unwilling to receive forgiveness? Are you unwilling to receive the truth? Are you unwilling to receive constructive and progressive criticism. Okay? These things, if you receive them, they will change your perspective, right? The things that you have been expanding for that does not embrace your original design, you need to start to reduce it. The things that you have been making room for that does not embrace your original God created design, you need to start reducing. Okay, start reducing access. Reduce the time that you spend thinking about certain things. Okay, remember that thinking is a process that continues until you stop it or control it. You will always think. As long as you have brain function, you will always be thinking. Thinking is a process that continues until you stop it or you control it. Okay, you can control the direction of your thoughts. Other people may influence your thoughts, right? Events may influence your thoughts, right? But you control the direction and the duration of those thoughts. You might need to write that down if you're taking notes. You control the direction and the duration of your thoughts. Even though other people and things can happen that influence the way you think, you are in control of the direction and the duration of that, right? Unwanted thoughts are often triggered by stress or anxiety. So reduce the time that you spend having certain feelings, right? And some things that you have reduced, you need to create room for because it benefits you, right? It suits who you are becoming. Okay. Broaden your range of interests and experiences that you're willing to have, right? Because that might actually cause you to feel fulfilled in areas that you haven't been feeling fulfilled previously, right? Because you have not expanded yourself in things that would benefit you, right? And you are expanding and making room for areas that you need to be reducing. Okay. Today's session is the way of escape. So after today, we will no longer have excuses for why we are stuck, right? The way of escape is not ignoring something, it's not avoiding it. It is the way out, it is the exit, it is the solution. Okay. Another way to escape those patterns is learning to communicate more from a healthy mind and not communicating just from your feelings. Okay. Unless you are emotionally intelligent, right? People who are emotionally intelligent can process their feelings and express them in a healthy way without being triggered. Okay. Without becoming their feelings or leaving them unprocessed. That those are people that are emotionally intelligent. But some people won't communicate that way, right? Because they haven't been taught to even say what they feel. They can't even describe it to you. So in their frustration, it just becomes anger because they can't find the words, right? We see this often in children, but we also see it in adults. That's why, as children, you should teach them to, instead of lashing out, instead of reacting, say what it is you're feeling, right? If this is you, you can practice by saying how you feel to people that ask you, how are you? Right? You can start simple. You don't have to be deep. You just simply say, I feel happy or I feel sad. Okay. Don't just say I'm good, right? Because that can mean anything. And most of the times it's not the truth. So just be a little more specific than just saying, oh, I'm good. Right? Say how you feel. Just one word. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, right? This will help establish a vocabulary instead of you being frustrated, not being able to communicate what you are feeling. Okay. Remember the session on accountability, right? We talked about that when you are being honest about how you feel, you are giving someone a key to unlock yourself from the prison of your mind, from the prison of your emotions. Because as long as you don't express it, it keeps you locked up, right? It keeps you on guard. Where you've hidden, you can hide so many feelings and emotions in your mind that they either all come out at one time, they come out at the wrong time, or they come out at the end of your time on earth, right? Meaning you haven't processed anything. You go to your grave with these emotions and with these feelings, and we don't want that to happen, right? So you can find a way of escape by expanding or creating space for what you need to and reducing that space for the things that you don't need, for the things that do not benefit you. Okay. Another way of escape, breaking those agreements with repressed trauma. Exit those places where your mind has tucked away those painful memories that are hoping that you're going to forget them, right? The difference between repression and suppression is in repression, you probably are not even conscious that you're blocking something, right? It is unconsciously blocking certain thoughts or impulses. But with suppression, this is something that you are voluntarily blocking, okay? Your brain does not forget. It will repress it or suppress it, but it will not forget it. So start by processing those suppressed issues, right? The things you purposely block, the things you purposely ignore, right? The ones you purposely avoid. Break those unhealthy agreements that put you in a state of detriment and destruction mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Okay. So when you want to isolate and self-medicate with unhealthy things, stop agreeing to do that and choose a better option, right? It's not going to be what you want to do, right? Because you're used to this cycle. You're used to not being able to get out. You're used to not having a way of escape. I'm giving you a way of escape. So stop doing it that way. The things that are causing destruction to you. Stop doing it through isolation, right? That's not benefiting you. Okay. You do it and you stop agreeing to do the things that are not growing you. Stop doing the things that doesn't embrace God's original design for you. Okay. It's not going to be what you want to do. Let's get that out the way. You're not going to want to do it, right? But until you are healthy, it's what you have to do. Okay. We do a lot of things we don't want to do, but we do it because it benefits us. Okay. This is one of those things. Trauma's characteristics are fear, terror, and torment, right? Traumas, these are three characteristics of trauma: fear, terror, and torment. Okay. One of the solutions to ending fear is obtaining knowledge or understanding of the unknown, right? A solution to eliminating terror is establishing safety, safe people, safe places, safe thoughts, safe feelings, okay? A solution to breaking the power of torment is creating or finding joy. These are your ways of escape. You are exiting fear. You're exiting terror. You are exiting torment. You're not hiding. You're not avoiding, right? You're getting out. Okay. When you have information about something, you are less fearful of it, right? The more you know the limits to the things that you are afraid of, the less power it has of you. When you know this is the max that this person can do, this is the max that this situation can do to me. Once you know the limits of what you are afraid of, then it has less power over you. Okay. The strongest fear is the fear of the unknown, right? We fear what we don't know. We fear what we don't understand. So the solution to that is to get an understanding, to get information, to gain knowledge and wisdom concerning the thing that you don't know, right? When you feel safe, you don't tend to be terrorized so quickly and easily, right? If you're in a safe place, somebody jumping out at you, you don't jump as quick as when you are in a place that you don't know, right? So safety is a solution to terror, okay? Anguish. Anguish is torment that has reached your emotions. It has reached your soul, right? It's no longer just in your mind, just in your thoughts, just in your feelings. It is now in your heart. But when you find joy, it can override any anguish that is maybe physically, mentally, emotionally, right? Have you ever been in pain and saw something funny? Like you could have been in pain physically and somebody just made you laugh. How hard is it to feel that pain while you are overjoyed, while you are full of laughter? Okay? When you do things and when you are a part of things that give you joy, that puts joy in your heart, it is not easy for you to be tormented, right? It's really hard to feel that, to feel joy and torment at the same time. And I want you to think about that. Have you ever been tormented in an area and then experienced joy? Which one wins? Which one wins? Right? So the solution to the torment is finding and creating spaces for joy in your life. Okay. So you may not like what I'm about to say next. Okay. But a way to escape certain triggers is to forgive. We like other F words. We don't like that word. We don't like to forgive. Wake up ready to forgive. According to the Bible, each person gets at least 490 times to be forgiven, 7 times 70, right? So I want you to try at least 3 days out of the week and see how much more relaxed you become because you're not holding grudges, because you're not repressing these ill feelings, right? It will actually make you healthier and save your life, right? So delete those emails, those text messages, those screenshots, those pictures, right? That you can use to hurt somebody by placing vengeance in your own hands, right? It's probably going to make you throw up, but it can also prevent cancer, okay? Forgive. When you wake up, at least 3 days out the week, if each person got 490 times to be forgiven, choose it. When you wake up, when you don't forgive people, it allows their evil to transfer to you. As good of a person as you can be, when you don't forgive, their evil transfers to you. So instead of you staying a loving, generous, happy person, you become bitter and angry and mean. And not only to the person that harmed you, right? But you become that way to people that had nothing to do with it, right? So if you had forgiven them, you could have passed on that goodness, right? Instead of the evil. So we're not forgiving to let people off the hook. We're forgiving so their evil doesn't transfer to us. Okay? We're not forgiving people to let them off the hook to say what they did is okay. We are forgiving them so that their evil doesn't transfer to us. And now we put ourselves in a position that we need forgiveness because we've now harmed other people, right? Remember, 490 times every person, right? I don't know what happens on the 491st time. Maybe you get a pass. Maybe you can knock them out. No, I'm playing. 490 times each person. Okay. And think about this. We say things like, you got one more time. What if God said that to you? How many times have God forgiven you? Right? But we want to give people one more time. You got one more time to say that to me. You got one more time to cut me off in traffic. No, they have 490 times. If you wake up with that thinking versus thinking somebody got one more time, you'll be so much more relaxed because you're not so focused on getting somebody back. You're not so focused on what they did to you. When you prepare your mind to already forgive, your life is much more easier, right? Escape the heavy burdens and suffering of your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, okay? Exit those cycles of carrying loads that are reserved for Jesus. He is the Savior. All the believers on the line, Jesus is the Savior. He might use you to introduce him to other people, but he is the Savior. So that's why you've been bent out of shape for so long, right? You're trying to save people that God didn't send you to, right? The solution to your suffering is paying attention to what you're eating, right? You suffer when you feed yourself bad things, right? Bad food, bad company, bad thoughts, bad habits, bad movies. Everything that doesn't benefit you, you are eating it up, right? So start eating healthy. Feed yourself healthy things. That means you start feeding all parts of you with good things, all parts of you, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, right? Things that are good for each part of you, specifically for you. So, what's good for your mind, what's good for your body, what's good for your spirit may not be good for other people, and vice versa, right? So, you have to feed yourself what is good for you. A lot of our suffering comes from what we are digesting. And I'm not just talking about food, that is one of the things, right? I'm not talking about food you eat with your mouth. It's also what you're eating with your eyes and what you're eating with your ears. Okay. Another way of escape: have a yes day. Have a yes day. Pray a prayer that God will send everybody your way that needs your yes. That means everybody that crosses your path, whatever it is they ask you, they need your yes. Just start with one day. I'm not telling you to do it every single day right now. Start with one day and have a yes day, and pray that God will send people to you that need your yes. That way you know, this is my purpose. It's gonna always be people that need exactly what you have. It's not something you can't attain, or something you don't have. You're gonna have the answer because you are the answer. You were literally created with that purpose of having the answer for that person. Okay. And so I use metaphors and real situations because it unlocks a new perspective, right? And for some people, that's all they need. They just needed to know how to do it. They needed to know how to see it, and they run with it. And it changes their world because they can see now, right? And so I just want you to think about that. Escaping is not running from it. Escaping is not avoiding it. Escaping is not you sitting there waiting in a holding pattern in fear or regret. That's not escaping anything. The way of escape is an exit. It is a result. The way of an escape, it is a solution. Okay. The way of escape is a new destination. It is a successful way out. And guess what? You hold the power within you to find your way out. I'll say it again. Escape is an exit. It's not a holding place, right? It means you leave one place and you got to go to another place. Okay. If you were inside, you go outside, right? If you were in Texas, you go to Louisiana, right? If you were in anger, you go to peace. If you lived in fear, you now move to courage, right? The way of escape is an exit. Okay. Are you ready to leave that old place? Are you ready to receive the coordinates to your new destination? Are you willing to be successful? Right? There is a solution to every problem. Do not believe the lies. There is a solution to every problem, right? There is an exit to every situation that you've entered. If you got in it, you can get out, right? You've been on the feeder road with so many stoplights and detours, right? But let me introduce you to a structure that's made of steel and concrete. It's called a freeway, right? You only have to stop if you're not paying attention and you get in an accident, right? You only have to slow down if you paying attention to somebody else slowing down, right? But there's this thing about freeways, they got other lanes, right? So you can just use another lane to get over and get back to the speed that you need to be, right? Here are the questions to ask yourself. When you begin to feel overwhelmed, when you begin to feel stuck, you feel like there's no way of escape, I have 3 questions that I want you to ask yourself. And if you have to do it out loud, do it out loud. It don't matter if people think you're crazy, right? Is it true? Is it me? And do I care? Is it true? Is it me? And do I care? Answer these questions first when you are presented with any situation. These questions give you a chance to think about how you want to respond, right? Answer the questions. Actually, answer the questions. Yes, it's true. No, that's not me. And I do care, right? Or no, that's not true. That is me. And I don't care. Whatever the answer is, actually answer the question. It keeps you from irrational thinking because you're answering the questions, which causes your brain to think rationally, right? When you ask a question, your whole brain is stimulated, okay? And serotonin is released, which causes the brain to relax, right? So if you feel anxious or angry, before flipping out, ask some questions and ask the questions with the intent on the answer. When you are relaxed, you're more likely to receive answers and develop solutions, right? You'll be able to see the way of escape. You'll be able to see the exit, okay? Before you answer somebody else's question that may seem to overwhelm you, ask yourself a question and contemplate the answer in order to calm down. Don't just respond. Just, is it me? Do I care? Is it true? No, that's not true. Instantly, when your brain begins to answer the question, you relax, right? So now you can respond the way you want to respond. You are hardwired to respond to the last question asked, right? You can be trained to answer questions in the order that you got them, but that depends on like what profession you have, right? But you are hardwired to respond to the last question that was asked of you, right? Most people respond to the last question that was asked of them. That's why if somebody asks you something and it's starting to overwhelm you, that's going to be on your mind until you ask yourself a question. Calm yourself down. Ask yourself a question that you're going to contemplate the answer to. That will give you a few seconds to calmly respond the way you need to respond, right? No matter how deep you are buried, you will find the light. There's always a way out. Every seed that goes in the ground, how does it know to grow up and not grow down? Every seed that you plant that has ever been planted, how does it know to grow up and not grow sideways and not grow down? It grows towards the light, right? A seed doesn't have a brain, but it has a need, right? And God supplies its need, its nourishment, right? How much more special are you, who He made in His image, with a mind that was intended to plan destinies instead of wage war, with a mind that was intended to transform the world around you instead of isolating yourself to transform back within you, right? Instead of isolating yourself and being buried in shame and depression and anger and fear. This is not what He created you in His likeness for. He created you with a mind that was intended to thrive and create ideas, a mind that engineers goodness and manufactures peace from its connection to your heart. This is the mind that God hath given you, okay? If a seed with no brain knows to reach for the light, you, no matter how far you're buried, must reach for the light and keep growing until you feel yourself break through the surface. The sun may feel unusual, because you've been in a dark place for so long. But in order to grow, you have to change. The seed changes from a seed to a seedling, right? Then it starts to grow leaves and it starts to grow fruit. And then those fruits have seeds in them as well, right? So you begin to multiply as you go towards the light, as you go towards your way out, as you go towards your way through, right? Don't stop until you reach the surface, until you find your way of escape. I have found my way of escape, and I want to relay to you our statement, which says, this feeling is temporary. It is just a process. Face your disappointments in yourself and in others. Some stuff is your fault. It was a bad decision, but you can make it better. You can change the outcome. Your life is more than the sum of your hard experiences, your pain, and your failures. You can still climb that mountain or command it to move. You will live again. Your happiness is not determined by what is happening now, it is determined by what will happen later, according to your choices, right? What you do with this moment is imperative to you understanding why you needed to go through it, why it had to happen to you. And after that, you will see that it happened for you. So I've given you many ways to escape. And I want to encourage you to continue to grow. Continue to do what you need to do to create an atmosphere that is conducive to your growth. So that concludes our session. Remember, 3 days, forgiveness, one day, be a yes day. God, send the people that need my yes. Say yes to everybody on that day. Okay, so that's your homework. Pick 3 days out of the week. Wake up with forgiveness. Each person that you come in contact with has 490 times to mess up, just like you got however many times God gave you, right? 3 days out of the week. And then 1 day out of the week, let it be a yes day. Okay. So go and be what God has created you to be. I hope you, in this, you have discovered your purpose. And I will see you all again next week. God bless.